I've got some new news. So, Five Nights at Freddy's, more, or rather, Scott, has recently came on and dropped some lore slash teasing. If you guys do not know, a million Five Nights at Freddy's channels exist. The big Five Nights at Freddy's YouTubers exist. But Daco, one of the bigger Five Nights at Freddy's creators, did a Good Samaritans. I think that's what that is. He did a live stream. I think he did 2 parts. And during this, Scott had made some messages. Um, and let's go into it real quick because I do got some limited stuff. First of all, was Lewis had asked about a possible sister location as a movie. We're on game 3 for movie 3, and he basically had to say, if we get there, it'll be a nice film. That one, it will be a little confusing, but I think we can definitely see this if FNAF 3 does good. I think what they're going to do is wait for and see how good the trilogy went, and then they'll continue making. I think Final Fantasy Freddy's 4, however, I think that needs to be cut because either it needs to be a part of Final Fantasy Freddy's 3 and explain some stuff, or it needs to be thrown in with Sister Location. I need to move this a little bit because you're missing a lot of what I'm doing. And then also another thing he might want to do beforehand is either do something with a cartoon series like the Fredbear and Friends or Freddy and Friends on Tour. He might want to do some more of that stuff before jumping to more movies. They've also talked about a possible Goosebumps series back in the 10th anniversary talk with Daco. He mentioned that he would look. There will be a audience for a Goosebumps series based on the Fazbear Frights books. In Daco, even asked about like what would be really there is we'll probably do what Goosebumps did and have like a mixed bag. Well, things like Slappy, which would be like Fetch and the Funtime Freddy, the scrapped one, and Eleanor would have their episodes, but we would still have things like the monster blood of it being Fazgoo. We'd have our sea bonnies and stuff. But that's basically what it is. Either I think they're going to see what the trilogy is going to look like. Scott might want to do some cartoons. He might want to do the Goosebumps series with Fazbear Frights, or he might just want to just continue going. And like I said, I think Final Fantasy 4 will need to be skipped because Sister Location, I think, is the next big of the games. Moving on. This thing I tried to learn more about. I did get the summary of what was this. Basically, Chica's Secret Party World is a part of the new guide that released recently. And basically what it goes by is that I think this is back in Sister Location's year, either before or after the release of Sister Location. This minigame was up, and the minigame had a lot of lore, hints at lore, and even said that the box was solved in it. And there was also like hints at what bigger mysteries would be knocked out. Will this exist? I think this was something that was never released or something that was in Scott's mind for a while. But definitely the issue that comes up because of this Daco stream is Scott's answers. No man goes out of his way not to just say it was a joke. Or hey, that was just something like if it was on Scholastic or whatever's, and it was on them, not me. It's happening. Either this is something that did not get released, or this was like, it will not be getting released, but here's some hints at lore through this book. Or what I think in the next subject is that it's going to be released within another game. And then let's kind of ring this up because I'm actually doing pretty good. Um, Basically, this is the biggest part of the news. Well, yes, this location possible, and the idea that Chica's Secret Party World is, well, Secret Party is real. Um, this there's a sequel being worked on. It is a 2, not a 3, a 2. So this means, of course, it knocks out the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 movie. Um, it means that it can't be one of our classic franchise, the classic series, because the classic series goes up to 6. It can't be Help Wanted 2 or 3 because that's a 3. Actually, let me go ahead and look up the Five Nights at Freddy's games again. While special delivery would be on the table, I think because of what happened to the first one, I don't think they would unless they really want to say run that back. Security breach, while it's possible, I don't think they're gonna do it because Security Breach 2 or the continuation off of Ruin will be kind of the end of the franchise, or at least this era. I think Five Nights at Freddy's will probably live on after the Mimic era, because they probably got so many stories. They'll probably want to do some Fredbear stuff and do more William Afton stuff. Might want to get into the Fazbear Frights. But I think Security Breach is at least 2 or 3 more games away before it comes back, because that is the end of the Mimic series. Moving on to a possible DLC, but I think it's going to be a Chapter 2 of Secret of the Mimic. Going off of after we either lose or we just get defeated by the Mimic at the end of Secret of the Mimic. I think it would be cool to see a Chapter 2 to that. But I think there's not much you can really do except for explain what happened there, which I think will be explored more in the next Security Breach. A possible Wave 2 to Dead by Daylight's Five Nights at Freddy's collab. I think the Dead by Daylight creators have said that they would like to come back and do a Chapter 2 with them, a second wave with another killer and possibly survivors, which I would believe, if anything, would be movie based. Let's see, fan games. Another big one that could include Chica's Party World is the Fetch game. So we head into the pit. MegaCat Studio and Scott have shown great interest, or at least have mentioned that they are in the planning stages of a possible Fetch game. I think that is something we could be seeing soon. And the other thing that Chica's Secret Party might be a part of is a possible, not an update, but a new sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's World. Five Nights at Freddy's World had an update 2 already, so it can't be an update 3. But making it brand new, which is kind of what Scott has said in the 10th anniversary interview, that he would like to come back to Five Nights at Freddy's World and make it good this time and give it the love and passion that it deserved. Because there is a following, and people are getting mods, people are making brand new games. Refreshed is getting updates every few months now, and that is one of the best of of that RPG genre. And then to kind of finalize the last of the Chica's Secret Party World possibilities is a Fury's Rage 2. While waiting for the next chapter of Secret of the Mimic or the Security Breach or a possible Help Wanted 3. The next major game produced by Stillwool, I think we could possibly get a Fury's Rage by Scott. This is one, we already got a trilogy from Freddy's in Space. It would not be too far to throw a Fury's Rage. So in conclusion, because I gotta make another video, Main series from the classic era has 6 games. The movies is at 3. Five Nights at Freddy's World Update 3. Help Wanted would be 3. The movie is the 3rd. And Special Delivery, I think, is too loose and too bad of a choice financially. We're at Five Nights at Freddy's. We already did Five Nights at Freddy's Freddy in Space 3. So we'd be either getting a sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's World, we'll be getting a sequel to Fury's Rage, or we can technically get a sequel to the book universe games with Mega Cat Studio in Fetch. And I think Fetch, Five Nights at Freddy's World 2, or Fury's Rage 2 might include Chica's Secret Party. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.